Do you hear the applause at all?
Yes, I can. Did you?
No, not at all.
Oh.
Anyway, welcome to Geek Vice, home of all the technical difficulties in the world.
And absolutely no studio audience.
No studio audience. We had a studio audience, but they all died in their sleep.
they all walked out.
They're zombies now. They died in their sleep, and then they walked out.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Geek Vice, episode number 76, a podcast by two geeks just trying to be heard in a world now flooded with geeks. My name's Morph. I'm your bartender for the zombie apocalypse, drinking a nice little summer shandy tonight. And that guy over there with the Sasquatch coffee mug is Kip. He's a man boldly going from the couch to the kitchen and back again. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening. Now my trip is made sweeter because of this awesome coffee mug that I will never drink coffee out of. Probably only whiskey will ever go into that thing, but hey, it's neither here nor there.
Hey, I was going to say, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. So, we got a lot of things to cover tonight, but we really have no order or organization to this thing. We are probably going to jump around a whole bunch because we have what I consider organized chaos going on here.
Organized is iffy at best.
So it's really just going to be more like chaos.
Yes.
We've got a lot of topics that we could talk about. We've got some here that we probably won't get to. We have some we will get to, and we have some that you guys probably don't want to hear anything about. But sit back and enjoy the ride. Because yeah, you're not in charge. It's just us.
And we're not in charge either.
So, well, we should probably hit the big topic of the night. What do you think there, Kip?
Sure, since I don't even know what that is.
Well, that would probably be this gigantically popular movie that you watched over the weekend.
Could this be the gigantically awesome movie that I saw twice over the weekend?
I am going to go with yes.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I know what movie you're talking about. So we secured our tickets and went and saw Age of Ultron on Friday and absolutely loved it. In fact, my initial reaction was, I like this better than the first Avengers movie. And
awesome.
That was my time, I guess, huh?
No, that was me hitting buttons.
Okay. So, just to make sure that we really did enjoy it better than the first one, we saw it for a second time on Saturday, which I still say it's better than the first one. People may disagree with me. Even the people who do movie reviews for a living didn't seem to like it as much as the first one, but of course we always know those people are wrong. I really liked this movie. But the whole thing about going to the theater and seeing a movie such as Age of Ultron is for the full movie experience. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
So, you're in your seat. You are a captive audience. And they decide to play this commercial, which is probably only 2 minutes long, but it seemed like 45. Holy shit. I don't know what the hell. I feel sorry for the girls that are in this commercial. I don't even know what the product is. It's something to do with shaving your legs.
Yep.
I don't care.
It was a razor commercial.
It was a razor commercial. And it's basically an a cappella girls group kind of pretending to be Pitch Perfect, singing all these pop songs where the words are changed to talking about the stubble on their legs and shaving it off and things like this.
I don't see what's wrong with this.
You don't? You didn't sit through it.
I wasn't sitting. I watched this at my office at work today when you put this link in the show notes going, you need to watch this. I was not sitting in anticipation of one of the biggest blockbuster movies of the summer, or at least the first blockbuster movie of the summer. Yeah, I could see how this would be a little unnerving.
Unnerving may not fully cover it. Holy cow. Friday when we walked in, this thing just started. This commercial just started. And we sat down and it's like, holy shit, I hope I never have to see this again. Well, of course, it's the same stuff the next day when we saw the movie again. Wow. And, like I said, I feel sorry for these girls, but then again, they may have got paid more for that commercial than I make this year. So maybe shouldn't feel too bad for them. The people I do feel sorry for are people like myself, my wife, the people who sat around us that had to be bombarded with this crap. Holy cow. And normally I am not a guy to argue with beautiful women on a big screen dancing around wearing nothing but towels. But I didn't have a mute button, so it wasn't working for me. It was bad.
And this also brings up an interesting point that I think it's a much larger topic than what we'll really cover here. But kind of this idea now that with so many streaming services that have limited commercial interruption or no commercials at all, like Netflix, where a lot of people are getting their entertainment, you're seeing more and more cord cutters, so people are moving away from the standard way of getting advertisements. It's probably something we should have brought up to Celeste as the marketing wizard that she is, that we had a couple episodes ago. That movies now seem to be the place where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck in an advertising sense. So there seems to be a lot more commercials being put in to the beginning instead of like the little, like AMC used to have the little, like film guy that would ride around on the film canister and, do goofy stuff before the movie starts. Now you seem to get a lot more commercials.
Yeah. And it's an AMC theater. So you have the AMC dot or spheres that they've turned into characters, and those commercials about silencing your cell phone and make sure you go get your favorite beverage out of the lobby, those kinds of things. We've all seen those a bunch of times. You can pretty much ignore those.
But those are your typical movie commercials where they're only like 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds long.
And they don't bombard you. They don't bombard your senses. That shaving commercial, still don't know what the brand is. They were shilling, but holy cow, it was way too loud. Now I sound old. It just went on forever, because it was kind of a montage of like 3 or 4 songs. And I am impressed that they came up with that many lyrics about leg shaving and only dropped one thing about bikini area one time. So I was impressed with that. But holy shit.
Well,
maybe cut that down in a third.
Yeah, when I watched it, it is about 2 minutes, 1:50 seconds to 2 minutes long. Or at least the YouTube clip of it is. And yeah, I mean, that's a long commercial. I mean, even your commercials on your TV shows, you usually only have 3 to 4 minutes for an entire commercial break, let alone 2 minutes for an entire commercial. So yeah, I mean, that's a much longer commercial. The Super Bowl, that would have been like $20 million. So, I mean, I agree with you, probably a little too long. And if you're going to start seeing more and more of those, it's just going to mean the movie starts that much later now. And that's, I'm one of those people that when they tell me that the movie's supposed to start at, my ticket says the movie's going to start at 9 o'clock, I want to walk in there like at 9 o'clock. I want the movie starting, not the commercials, not the advertisements, not the trailers. I want the movie starting at 9 o'clock.
But well, see, you bring up a good point, and I think that's why people come in late.
Yeah.
I don't have to sit through that. Holy cow! We do the prime seating, which means you pick when you buy your tickets, you actually pick what seat you're going to sit in. So it's not like you show up 5 minutes before the movie starts and wonder why there's not a seat. You actually have your seat. So showing up and missing that commercial is probably the best idea. So I'm one of those chronically half an hour earlies to the movie guy.
I am too.
So now I'm going to have to be like 5 minutes before movie starts guy now, I think. So I don't have to listen to that.
Well, but even then you see, and that's that's kind of the frustrating thing, because it's like, hey, if you can then guess and gamble on how many commercials and how many trailers and how much worthless crap they're going to put at the beginning of the movie, and come in after the start time and try to guess when that is and take the chance of missing something that you wanted to see, or you sit through all that stuff. And it's, I'll just end up sitting through that stuff because I have too much OCD to not get there early. But
well, lucky for me, I guess, I don't know, this is the best way to put it, the payoff was there. The movie was just that good, and the trailers were outstanding. So once you got beyond women singing about shaving their legs, the trailers, I mean, it was like Star Wars, Jurassic World. There was one I hadn't even heard of before called The Last Witch Hunter with Vin Diesel. That even looked awesome. So, it's like, you see the trailers, you're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. We're getting the really good trailers. That means we're getting a really good movie. I always base the trailers or the movie we're going to see on the trailers we watch beforehand. If it's a bunch of scary movies, chances are the movie you're about to see sucks. Or it's a scary movie.
Right.
And this time it was all the big blockbusters: Batman versus Superman, like I said, Star Wars, Jurassic World, Ant-Man, and Fantastic Four. It's like, they pulled out the big guns because they knew everybody was going to be at the theater because people are wanting to see this movie.
Here's my question for you. You've got a list of 7 movies on here. That's a shit ton of trailers for a movie.
And 2 minutes apiece.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's like, okay, we've now pushed this movie back. You've added 2 minute. You've got all the AMC stuff. So let's say that's 5 minutes to be a nice round number. You've got a 2-minute long commercial. Now you've got 14 minutes worth of trailers that you're putting in there. Now this movie is starting 20 minutes later?
Well, you got to remember the commercials and shit are before movie time.
Sure, but they're still after the time that they tell you on your ticket you need to be in your seat. That's a lot of time that you got people sitting there jonesing for the movie they want to watch. That is my least favorite part of going to a movie theater. Well, maybe not my least favorite. It's my second least favorite. The first is dealing with the stupid kids that are there that shouldn't be there and aren't interested in watching the movie. But that's just whatever.
Well, okay. At least you're not bitter about that. So
I talk like I go to the movie theater a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're bitching about nothing because you never go to the movies. But I'm going to say, besides that commercial, the only thing that was I would say a negative for my movie going experience was its Age of Ultron. Marvel, not one person was in costume.
Yeah.
We went and saw, I think, the second Thor movie, and a kid dressed as Deadpool was there. Not even the same comic house, is it? Is Deadpool DC?
No, that's Marvel.
He's Marvel. He's Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay, at least he was in the right deal. But that's pretty awesome. At least Deadpool was there, and a couple times we went to some other Marvel movies, and there was people dressed up, but nothing this time.
Well, Did you go to the midnight showing, or did you just go to a showing on Friday evening?
We did Friday evening, but I figured, there's got to be enough nutty people out there to dress up on even Friday night.
Yeah.
I'm sure the costumes were awesome Thursday at midnight.
Yeah.
Like I said previously, I'm old, so I wasn't going to be there. But those people need to work their cosplay around my schedule and show up when I'm at the theater. What were they thinking?
Exactly. Hey, everybody out there, everyone listening to this, Kip, the world revolves around him.
Now you get it. Now you're getting it.
Get your shit together.
So anyway, I'm not going to spoil Age of Ultron since you haven't seen it, but awesome.
So is that pretty much all we need to go with? That it was awesome?
Yeah. Oh, and it had the one thing that the my wife wanted, and that was more Jeremy Renner than the first one. So I think that's why she liked it more than the first one, because Jeremy Renner was a good guy through the entire movie.
Nice.
And he got a lot of screen time. So there's that.
Awesome.
So if you're a Jeremy Renner fan, hey, you got that going for you.
Well, okay, now, we've you got the Age of Ultron. There was Marvel Agents of Shield had a Marvel Agents of Shield. I should just call this Shield. Had a kind of a tie-in last week that kind of led up to and kind of gave the reveal of how this movie was going to start, if you didn't already know this. So what did you think of that connection between Shield's TV show and the Age of Ultron movie? Was it worth anything? Did it matter? Does it matter if you don't watch Agents of Shield and you go see this movie? Or do you get a little extra out of it if you do watch the TV show?
Well, since I was caught up on Agents of Shield before we went and saw the movie, and I am old, so my memory isn't that good, but it seemed like the tie-ins between the last TV show and the movie release was just a little bit more name-dropping than anything else. I mean, Coulson did mention the twins.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't Coulson. It was the Hydra agents talked about the twins that struck her.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah.
Raina talked about she had a vision of Loki's staff. And they
porn time.
Huh?
Sound like a porn premise there. She had a vision of Loki's staff.
Oh, well played,
Sorry,
Mr. Goldman. Well played. So, yeah, I think those are really the only two big tie-ins.
Well, Strucker, yeah, I believe that's the guy at the beginning of the movie. So those two things do tie in.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what happens on the next TV show, the next episode on the TV show, because some things happened in the movie. You're like, oh yeah, that's going to be in the TV show. So I'm looking forward to seeing if I'm actually right about those things. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil them for you.
Yeah. No, and I will be curious. I mean, unfortunately, we haven't watched the TV show yet, and but we will watch it tomorrow. For those of you that don't know, we record these on Monday nights, and they usually get posted out to the world on Wednesdays. So, sorry, deal with it.
That's the way it is. If I wasn't lazy, it would get up there sooner. But I'm old.
But there was now we went from Ultron. I'm trying to make these transitions as best as possible, and I'm
trying to promote you at every chance I get.
And I am terrible at this shit. But we've got Agents of Shield, where or do you think with the next Agents of Shield, without giving away any spoilers, do you think the next Agents of Shield series, or the rest of the series that's really left, which isn't all that much, do you think it's going to have as big of an impact, or is this movie going to have as big of an impact as The Winter Soldier did on the TV show?
I think it will. What happens in the first 20 minutes of the movie, I think is going to, it completely changes the storyline, I think, for the TV show. Kind of like what Winter Soldier did for the TV show. It felt like the TV show, they wanted you to think, hey, look over here, and then then the movie came out. It's like, oh, surprise, we're over here now. I think it's going to be a little bit of that.
Okay, cool.
Does that make any sense?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's just cryptic enough to make me want to watch the show tomorrow, and
mission accomplished.
I will be doing that. So
Yeah.
So we got that going for us,
and that's nice. Oh, we both have seen Caddyshack. Weird.
So I'm going to take this in a whole nother direction.
Uh-oh.
But keep us going on the same thing, which, is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is dealing with the Inhumans. We have Inhumans a lot in this TV series. We know we have the Inhumans movie coming out, and I think it's gotten pushed back to 2018 now with the Spider-Man deal. I think it's either late 17 or early 18. But there's also and kind of has been for a while, but there's a comic book series called Inhumans that are out. And I have actually started, I've had these things for a while, and I finally started reading them. But it's not too far if you guys are interested in going back and checking these things out. I am trying to get this thing to load. But the Inhuman #1 came out. Let's see, what's the date on this thing? 2014. So
you are behind.
So yeah, but there's 9 issues out right now, and I'm not quite up to date. I'm a couple months behind, so there's probably a couple. They're probably up to 10 or 11 or 12 right now. The writer is Charles Soule, and the artist is Joe Madureira. I'm probably butchering that name really bad, but the art.
I'm sure he'll give you a call, let you know.
Yeah, he'll let me know. The art on this stuff is really good. The whole story takes place after some global events have happened, and it's basically called Black Bolt, the original king of the Inhumans, basically detonated a Terrigenesis bomb. So for those of you who are either watching the TV show or haven't watched the TV show or know nothing about the Inhumans, basically Inhumans is a species of humans that have been altered and have bred over time. So some people, they don't know that they're an Inhuman. Some of these people are just people that are out there. Some of them have stuck around, but you don't develop your powers until you're exposed to this Terrigenesis cloud, this matter. So much like the TV show where Skye gets her earthquake abilities, none of these other people know that they're Inhumans. So when Black Bolt detonates this bomb and releases this cloud of gas everywhere, then these, as this cloud passes over people, it starts changing these people. So it's basically almost kind of like going through metamorphosis or something. So they get a cocoon wrapped around them. Some people, depending, make it out of this. Some do not. And so we get to go through the way this starts in Inhumans #1. You basically get to go through and see a few people that have changed. You get to see Medusa now taking charge of the Inhumans and dealing with that. The Inhuman island or Inhuman colony that was up on the moon has crashed to Earth and is now in the Hudson Bay. I believe it's in the Hudson Bay. It's basically in the way of shipping travel, so you have to deal with that stuff. That's brought up in this series, but it's really good. I really like it, and I think the reason I like it the most is because it feels very X-Men ish. The way X-Men kind of started. You have these people who, persecuted or not persecuted, people don't understand. And you have people now with these powers and they don't know why because they never knew they were Inhumans to begin with. So it's kind of fun in that same sense. And some people could probably call it a rehash, and that they don't want to read it because they already read it the first time when it came out with the first X-Men. But I like what they're doing here, and I think this kind of between what's going on in, not that it has a direct tie to the TV series, but what's going on in the TV series and what's going on here kind of gives you an idea of what this Inhuman movie could be like. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. And I'm wondering if maybe the TV show is kind of, let's say it's kind of happening pre this comic book. So what you're seeing in this comic book, I think very well could be what's put out on screen. So if you're interested in kind of a primer for the Inhuman movie coming up in a couple years, check out Inhumans or Inhuman by Marvel Comics.
Sweet.
So there we go. How about that for a transition?
It was pretty good until you said, how about that for a transition?
So, all right, where do you want to go to next, Mr. Kip?
Oh, the sky's the limit. So, did you watch anything on TV this weekend?
No.
Well, I did. So how's that for a transition?
I like it. What did you watch this weekend?
Well, we've been continuing our watching of Game of Thrones, which we're not binge watching or anything like that. We actually watch the episodes as they come out on Sunday nights and just love that show. And Celeste, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, made a dragon cake that was a dragon, like, wrapped around 3 dragon eggs. So it fit perfectly with the Game of Thrones theme. So we had dragon cake and watched Game of Thrones.
Holy crap. Did you take a picture of this?
I did.
Oh, that's gonna need to go up on our Twitter or Facebook or something, because I want to see this thing.
Yeah, I'll get that posted up on the Facebook page.
That just sounds cool.
It was very cool, and it was delicious. So
most important part.
Cool and delicious, my favorite. So, and I don't know. Have you seen any of Game of Thrones?
I know some of it. I have not actually finished a season, but I read all the spoiler stuff on it because I think it's really cool. I just don't have I haven't found the time to sit down, but I do have all the episodes. I just need to watch them.
Okay, fair enough.
So spill it, man. What's going on?
The funny thing about Game of Thrones is because we are watching it episodically as they come out, and the names are so close together, I get really confused easily on who the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because there's a person named Sansa and a person named Cersei, and I get them confused all the time. And there's Tywin and Tyrion, and I get those confused. And so stuff will be going on, and they'll throw out a name, and then I have to look at everybody else and go, who the hell are they talking about? Then they'll tell me, it's like, okay, I got you. But basically, Baratheon was the king, and the Starks were his right-hand family, and the king died, shit happened, the Starks get killed off one by one until there's very few left. They're scattered to the wind. People are trying to take over the throne. It's just been that way. So basically, it's intrigue, it's blood and gore, it's nudity and sex, and it's just well written, well acted. It's just one of those shows that you got to watch it to see. You can't get too attached to any character because they may not make it. I mean, when it first started, the guy who played Ned Stark is Sean Bean from like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great, good show for him, and then he gets killed off immediately. Like, what the fuck? And so it's just one of those things that you can't get attached to the characters; they will kill them off, and new characters will come on, and you'll be like, who the hell are you? And why does your name sound like somebody else's? But so I don't know if George R.R. Martin just went close enough.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything else, and so you're going to sound like this person. But it shows it's kind of a medieval sword and sorcery atmosphere. It shows how cruel people can be to each other for power.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of backstabbing and incest and all this stuff, and it's just thrown together in a really well done package, and I'm addicted to it. Even sometimes I'm completely lost, I still love it. So
nice.
So if you get a chance, watch that. And then we are watching a Star show called Black Sails. It's in season 2, and we're about halfway done, I think, with season 2. We're binge watching that. And it basically a little bit like Game of Thrones in the fact that there's backstabbing, there's blood, there's boobs. So 3 Bs anyway. And but it takes place in the early 18th century. It follows Captain Flint, who you may know from Treasure Island. This is before Treasure Island. And it's got a guy named John Silver, a guy named Charles Vane, who actually does exist, or did exist.
Right.
So, and it's basically takes place in the Bahamas and Nassau. And it's about pirates basically trying to make a living. And some of the pirates are actually trying to save Nassau, so to ensure their futures. And some of the pirates are just kind of the live for the day kind of people, and there's all this skullduggery and whatnot behind the politics and stuff behind the scenes. And to me, it's the same grittiness as Game of Thrones. It's just on the high seas, which is funny because most of the stuff takes place on dry land, but because they're docked in Nassau, and they're, the main thrust is around the people who are trying to keep this trade, if you want to call it a trade business, going. Yeah. They go out, steal it, they bring it back to this lady, sell it to her, then she turns and sells it as the legitimate front. It's kind of like money laundering for pirates, basically. But it's just really well done. It's really well acted. You won't know who any of these people are, just like Game of Thrones. It's not like, hey, I saw you in this movie. Nope, you haven't seen this person anywhere. But it's really well done. English accents everywhere. Doesn't matter. So if you get a chance, you should check that one out too. Black Sails.
Do they have any of that out like on boats, or is it really just you see them leave on a boat type thing, or you might see a boat in the distance, but that's pretty much everything else just happens on land?
No, there are scenes that take place on the high seas. I mean, I think the very first scene is a ship battle where these pirates this pirates overtake a merchant ship, and there's a battle, and they win. And there's stuff like that going on. There was one scene where they were taking on a ship that was way too big for them, but they thought they had the perfect plan for it. And when that thing turned and all 20 of its cannons opened fire, it's like, you're done. You are toast. But there's, I'd say 75% of it takes place on dry land, and the rest is usually a sea battle.
Yeah, I'd like to see some of that, see how those are done, because I've always enjoyed watching. That's one of my favorite parts of the Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
I knew you were going with that.
And it's you deal with these same. If you've played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, you're going to know some of these places. I'm sure that they call out, because that's one of the things that Assassin's Creed tries to sway to, is these historical places, these places that actually existed and were used in that time period. And I'm sure Black Sails is trying to fit in that same kind of category. So I'd love to see some of the battles in there. I'm going to have to check this one out.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. Since you were big into Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I think you'll really like this.
It's got high ratings on IMDb. It's 8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is 100%, but it's only 5 votes. TV.com is 8.5 out of 10. Metacritic is only 58%, but I'm pretty sure all the people at Metacritic just bitch and moan about everything. They don't actually say anything's good.
They could suck it.
So interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So
it is.
If you like your shows gritty and what's that?
It is available on Amazon Instant Video.
There you go.
Season 1 can be purchased. So
I got season 1 from the library because I'm cheap.
Yeah.
But there you go. But cool. It's worth it, and it's gritty like Game of Thrones. Yeah. Everybody's either naked, dirty, or bloody, or sometimes all three. And cursing, everything. Just kind of how you picture real life being. It's not censored by the FCC. They actually.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's on Starz. It's a Starz original series, so they get the same rules that HBO gets.
And they use them.
Which is no rules.
Pretty much.
So, all right. While we're still on the topic of TV shows and movies, I want to throw something else out there. Did you see the picture that was put up of the Suicide Squad?
I did. It's pretty dang cool.
First look of all of the Suicide Squad members. Did you go through and actually look at the different people that were there?
I did, but it's lost on me.
Did you notice who was not there?
I didn't see a Joker.
That's right. There is no Joker in this picture. Now, these pictures were posted or put on Instagram or Twitter from David Ayer, who is the director of the movie. So there is a very good probability that the Joker is not a member of the Suicide Squad, and that maybe the Suicide Squad's mission is to go capture or run into the Joker in whatever their mission is. So that could be an interesting twist to all of this, where maybe the Joker doesn't have isn't a member of it. Maybe it's just more like a cameo type thing that could not cause a problem with, the big problems that I've had with the Joker being part of this movie, and that, we all assumed that he was going to be a member of the Suicide Squad, and that doesn't fit the personality of a psychopath, let alone the Joker himself. So this is an interesting thing. I thought that was the biggest thing I took out of this picture.
You know what I just realized? Deadshot is Will Smith.
Yeah.
I looked at this picture, and I didn't even notice that was Will Smith.
I was wondering if maybe that was something else I was going to bring up. I was wondering if maybe that's reverse blackface. Did you see the picture of Just Deadshot? He's got a white mask on.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the only one that get that one.
I think so.
You know, old movies.
Yeah, I know what
Anyway,
you're talking about. Yeah.
we'll leave that one there. I
We'll
just
leave
thought that
that
was interesting.
racism to itself. Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be any good, but hey, the picture looked pretty good, so I'll give it that. I kind of like that idea. So, you know, I'm going to switch our topics from TV shows and movies. I haven't done a video game review in a while, and so I think I'm going to do that right now and give you guys a little taste of something called Skylanders Trap Team. And I'm sure those of you out there who are into video games know about Skylanders. It's a game where you get little miniatures and you put them on a little portal and they end up being on the screen and you get to control them. My son asked for this for his birthday, which was last month, a couple weeks ago. And his grandmother decided that's what she was going to get for him, so she got him exactly what he asked for. And I gotta say, it's kind of cool. I actually enjoy sitting and watching him play. It's fun. I'm not playing it. It is 2-player, but I have let him play. I have not touched the game yet. But so it's kind of fun getting to watch him experience this and kind of get his first taste of running a game all by himself. But I think the coolest part is just the little figurines. These things are really, like, they're kind of cool. They don't feel flimsy or weak. They're just little statuette figures. Some of them are really big, like, you know, you have this guy, which is called Snapshot. He's kind of the head honcho guy. And then you have, see, there's Food Fight. So you can see kind of the size difference. They all have funny little names. Food Fight's cool because he looks like a little sprout, and he has a cannon that shoots tomatoes. So that's kind of fun.
So do they have like a little chip in them, and the game reads that, or are
Basically,
they just for the kids to have?
No, the game actually reads these. So there's a portal that hooks up through a USB port, and then these guys just sit on it. And I'm going to guess there's some sort of either sensor or reading that's done through this bottom of the piece. So when you set it on the platform like this character then appears up on the screen.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because you can just sit there and you can be playing and then all of a sudden take your guy off and drop another guy on there and it switches guys on the fly. So it's kind of cool. I gotta say, this is a lot of fun, but I'm just enjoy sitting back and looking at the different characters. And we've got a big poster now, which I have no idea what happened to, but we've got a big poster of all the characters from the Trap Team that are in this particular game. And I have to be very careful because my completionist OCD mentality is like, well, we need to go out and buy some of these. They look really cool. And that's only going to get me in trouble because I know these things are not cheap. And it will add up. And I have read that you can spend over $300 if you try to buy all the characters and all the things that you need to 100% this game. So I have to make sure that I do not spend my money on this and get myself in trouble and make him spend his money on it. His game, his money, right?
That's the way I see it. But your wife may disagree. Who knows?
Hey, if she spends the money on it, then I don't get in trouble. That's her doing.
That's a good point.
So yeah, I recommend anyone who's got even if you don't have small kids, this game looks like a lot of fun. You've got to kind of be in the mind of, like a Ratchet and Clank or a Crash Bandicoot, or or even a Sonic the Hedgehog. A game like that, where it's not a deep, serious storyline. It's got a story, and it's a fun story, but it's not deep by any means. It's not going to get you thinking about life-changing topics like The Walking Dead or something like that. It's not going to be a first-person shooter type thing like Call of Duty. It is a third-person action-adventure, just hack-and-slash type game. But for what it is, I think it's kind of fun.
Well, that's pretty cool. And it gives your son something that he can play on his own, and
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about it.
exactly. I don't have to feel like I need to be down here watching him play. But I enjoy it. Like, so when he does come down and play, I have to I usually find an excuse to come down and sit with him so I can listen to the story. And it's kind of fun because he does the same thing I do. And that's listen to all the little bits of the story.
Cool.
So it's kind of cool. And before we wrap this up, we've got one other game that we've got to talk about.
Have to
talk about it. Prolific Games have finally finished their Kickstarter and started sending this stuff out. You see it there at Kip's desk. They're Flapjacks and Sasquatch's A Cup of Joe expansion. I have my copy as well. For those of you that don't have the video or are listening to this off of a download, you will miss out on the fancy stuff that we get to show on the screen here, like Kip's Sasquatch coffee mug.
Right. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, ha ha.
You can go to our YouTube page, just flip to the very end, and you'll get to look at these. So, got cool little things like some new equipment. As I drop a card, new equipment like the Smart Axe. We get some new stuff like Sasquatch repellent.
And everybody's favorite, Mound of Bacon.
Mound of Bacon. Get, let's see, what else do we got here? We got, this one I know is going to get played on Kip a lot, and that is a Hatchet Axe. It's a -2.
Yeah, but I'll be in turn playing this.
Beard Envy.
Yeah,
I love it.
No, it's pretty cool, and it comes with I got my copy with the. I think everybody did. I'm not 100% sure with the actual customized dice.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, this looks like a lot of fun. The other cool part is the lumberjacks that have been added. So you got guys like Flapjack Jack that gives you bonuses. Probably my favorite here, Tiny. Either that or because beavers always seem to get played on me when I play this game, Tracker Jim negates the beavers. It's going to be fun to add some of these in. I know this is, I believe it was I think this was Bill or John's. I can't remember which one, their favorite one. Nelson Freelove, guy in his underwear hugging a hippie.
Hugging a tree hugger.
Yeah. Chainsaw Sue.
I think this is really going to change the way we play the game. We played today at lunchtime, as a matter of fact, but without the expansion because I didn't get mine until today. So it showed up while I was at work. But we played at lunchtime today. It's It's a good game just to pull out, have a lot of fun, do a lot of laughing. And at lunchtime, we play 3 or 4 games, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's good. And I've convinced a couple of my neighbors and I think even my wife to give this game a try. So I was just waiting for mine to come in because I didn't have the original one, so now I have. That was upside down.
It's like, wow, they shipped you an upside down copy.
I have the original and the expansion. So looking forward to cracking those open. For those of you listening to this who have not received your copy, the one card that I'm sorry you probably won't get, that is because I am their favorite. I got the You're My Favorite card. So I'm sorry. You're just going to have to just call and complain if you want, but I'm just letting you know that I am their favorite. And
what do you mean? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Look at that.
And there's Kip with his You're My Favorite card. So I'm sorry. Geek Vice apparently was their favorite. They sent it to us, nobody else. So don't even worry about it.
And make sure you dig through your packing peanuts.
Yeah, because there's this dice that's sitting in there, and I wish I had. I don't know how I can make it not be so bright, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's white, so it really blends in with the packing peanuts. So look for it, or you're going to be like, I didn't get my bacon dice. Yeah, you did. It was camouflaged.
Yeah, I'm curious to talk to John and find out how many emails he's gotten with, wait a second, where's my bacon dice? So, we will let you guys know once we get a chance to play this game. I'm sure Kip will probably be playing it tomorrow at lunch. So next week we will talk about how awesome this expansion is.
I wish I was playing it tomorrow lunch, but I got lunch plans outside. So I'll play it on Wednesday for sure.
So there you go. Next week you will definitely hear about how awesome this expansion is. Other than that, you got anything else you want to throw out there?
I got the nothing.
All right. So everybody go check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Follow us on Google Plus for as long as that lasts, and Facebook. Just search for Geek Vice. You can follow Kip on Twitter at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geek Vice, where you get to see awesome pictures of me getting games before Kip, which I enjoy. So thanks everybody for listening to our ramblings. If you want to comment on Age of Ultron, Black Sails, Game of Thrones, Skylanders Trap Team, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Inhumans comic book, Suicide Squad picture, whatever it is, or the fact that you want to complain to us about not getting the You Are My Favorite card for your Flapjacks and Sasquatch expansion, feel free to email us at geekvice@gmail.com. And on that note, we'll cue the music.
Dun, 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 dun.
We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.